Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to be talking about another Ticket to Ride expansion map. And this one is France and Old West. But before we do, let's get into our pounds and inches segment. This is where Ryan and I talk about the things that we're doing to try and achieve better health in our life or some of the victories that we have. And I like to focus, and I think it's good to focus on non-scale victories, things that are happening that don't involve what you weigh. And something that's happened to me recently is this ring. It's like, not that it was ever tight on this finger, but it is very loose on this finger, but a little bit too tight for this finger. So it's like this weird world that I'm in. But it's also a sign of the fact that my body composition is still changing. So that's pretty exciting.
All right, well, very cool. So we're going to be talking about the Ticket to Ride maps of France and Old West. Now, if you can stomach our really bad audio
Like really bad.
from a year ago before we upgraded considerably, we did our how-to and we did a review of the original Ticket to Ride. So if you want to check that out, learn how to play, and then come back to watch the rest of this to hear about the differences and how to play these particular expansions and maps. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So here is the board for Ticket to Ride France. Now this board is massive. It's bigger than the other Ticket to Ride boards you might have played on. The first thing you probably notice is that there's not a lot of routes out there. You're going to have to build the routes yourself using these tiles here. So on your turn, when you use the draw cards action, in addition to drawing cards, you're also going to place one of these routes on the board somewhere. On a future turn, you can then build on top of that route using the normal, amount of cards and the correct colors. So in a sense, you're going to be kind of customizing the board in the way that you want it. You're going to be able to choose the size and the color of the route that you're going to be placing. There are some places where some routes cross over one another, and that's kind of one of those situations where whichever one gets placed first, the other ones then are blocked off and no longer available. In addition to the cities of France, there are also some surrounding countries around France. So for instance, there's Spain over here. Any one of these 4 spots count as being in Spain, but within that, this is not connected to this. You'd have to go out and around for some reason if you wanted to connect those. There are 2 endgame bonuses. There's the Globetrotter bonus that gives you 15 points for having the most amount of completed routes. There's also the bonus for the longest line. Basically, whoever has the longest unbroken chain of trains is going to get an extra 10 points at the end of the game. And as always, whoever has the most points wins. On the back of the France map is the Old West map. This is a very standard map as far as kind of the looking and placement goes. However, the way you place your trains is a little bit different than usual. When you draw your routes at the beginning of the game, you're going to look at them. You're going to draw 5 of them, keep 3 of them, and you have to place this little city piece on the board somewhere at the beginning of one of your routes. So let's say we start in Salt Lake City. From here on out, everything that we place has to be connected to that city somehow. We have to have, if we want to go to St. George from Salt Lake City, we can follow that path. And from here on out, for the next place you do, has to be connected to Salt Lake City or St. George. So on and so forth. So basically everything always is connected. You never have any broken parts of your train routes. You do need to be a little bit careful about you drafting your routes that you're going to be taking because let's say that we have a route that goes from Salt Lake City to Los Angeles. In this case, if we completed that route and there is someone else's city on Los Angeles, we are going to get the points as well as them. And even worse than that, let's say we didn't own Salt Lake City, but we had a route that went from Salt Lake City to Los Angeles. We've completed all the routes. We'd score all those points for doing the individual spots. But if they own a city on that route and we don't, they get the points. The only real way to avoid that, or at least to give you both points, is you can spend 2 of the same color cards in order to place a city when you are finalizing a route card. The endgame bonus is the Globetrotter, which again is you get 15 points if you have the most completed routes at the end of the game. There's also a variant called the Alvin variant, which I strongly recommend. There is a long time ago an expansion called Alvin and Dexter, where there was basically an alien and a dinosaur roaming the board, causing all kinds of chaos and costing you points. However, in this one, Alvin comes back. The alien is back. So in this game, you can represent Alvin with the little alien token that came with the game. You can put it in Roswell, New Mexico. Or it says in the rules, if you have the Alvin and Dexter expansion, you can use the little Alvin Mini. So that's what we used when we played it. Now, the way Alvin works is, basically, like we said, he's going to start in Roswell. If you ever have a route that you complete that ends in Roswell, you get to take and move Alvin. You're going to immediately score 10 points, and you're going to place him somewhere on a route that you already have placed somewhere. And then again, if someone later on, they complete a route that ends in that same city where he's at, they get to score 10 points and move him again. An additional 10 points will be awarded at the end of the game for whoever has control of Alvin. And as usual, whoever has the most points wins.
All right, well, first I'm going to talk about Old West, but before we really get into that, one of the things that's fun about both of these maps is that you have more information with how the game plays. You're very limited in where you can go to where your competitors know what you're trying to do. So you can't really hide that like you can in other Ticket to Rides, and I find that very fun.
Yeah, in the Old West, you have to kind of network out from where you're starting from. And in France, you have to place your route. You have to pick a route to play before you can build along that route. So you're telegraphing all that information.
Yeah, so that's really fun, and I enjoy it. I also like the are they towns, cities?
The cities
that you put on there. I would just play all of mine in a game, and it almost always ended up well. We were playing once where our daughter got like a 16-point route, but because it was through one of my cities, I also got 16 points, and I didn't have to work for it.
And that's also something to talk about is our daughter. She's 6 years old. At the time when she was 5, when we first did our review of Ticket to Ride, we were able to teach her, and she was able to get all that completely. And even though this is a step up in complexity, even just that 1 year of gaming and learning, she now can play these expansions as well. So this is very family friendly. It is a step up from original Ticket to Ride for sure, but it's not overly kind of going to rock your world with complexity.
So way back in the day when Ryan and I first started playing games, we got the Alvin and Dexter like mini expansion that we hardly ever use. So I was so excited when this game used it. If you don't have the expansion, it's fine. They have a little token for it. But we were able to use our little Alvin mini to play this game. And so it was just fun to see something that we had gotten years ago be incorporated to the game that we had now. And of course, Alvin started in Roswell.
So you can basically use the Alvin and Dexter for any expansion, any map of Ticket to Ride, with the exception of Old West, and that's because of that very thing. Is it's already in Old West in a different format. So it was nice to see that little cameo in there, harking back to our original days of playing Ticket to Ride and on the U.S. map with dinosaurs and aliens just blowing up everything, and it's great.
Yeah, so that's my full thoughts on the Old West map, and I'm gonna flip it over. Get it?
Oh, I got it.
It's double-sided. Anyway,
yep.
So France I thought was really fun as well. I liked like I said in both of these maps, you kind of know what people are doing because you have to play that marker before you can play your trains, and that was just fun because you could see what everybody was trying to do. And if you are that person, which some people are, it depends on my mood if I am or not, you can just block people and you can make it hard for them by picking up all the train cars that they need. And I just, yeah. Well,
and on the flip side of that, I like that you can customize the board a little bit. Sometimes there's a route that you really need, but it takes, say purple cards or pink cards, and there just isn't any pink cards coming up. You've got a whole handful of blues. Well, now you can, say, you know what, I want that to be a blue route, and you can use those blue cards for that long stretch. So I really like that kind of being able to make the game match what you've currently got and kind of work towards those things.
So Ticket to Ride is often referred to as a great gateway game, and I still believe that's true. However, I would not use the France map for that. I think that just that two-step process of having to plan what you're going to plan might be a bit too much for that map to be gateway. But besides that, I think it's still, it's still great and it's fun. I would just be hesitant with that.
And one thing to watch out for is the map itself. I have a huge phobia of ripping maps when I'm unfolding them, of game boards. And this one is 9 pieces tri-folded and then tri-fold it again. And it's the way you have to unfold it is very cumbersome, and I'm just horrified that I'm going to rip it at some point. So if you have or are planning on getting this map, when you're opening it, be super careful, or at least let me know if that's just a me thing. But yeah, this is one of my phobias for whatever reason, is damaging a board. So we never let our daughters open board games because they just kind of...
As children do. That's just, I gotta be protective against that. Yeah. I'm just impressed, I guess. Like, I think to myself, there's only so much you can do with a Ticket to Ride. Honestly, like, how many ways can you make this different? And yet, Alan R. Moon just does it. He just makes it different. And so I'm really impressed with how these games are still Ticket to Ride, but different. And I'm really impressed with that, and I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, this expansion was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both sides of it, really. I think I preferred France a little bit, but they were both great.
I preferred Old West. Isn't that funny?
So really what I want to do is I think I want to rank all the different Ticket to Ride maps that we've played, which is almost all of them that are out there. Yeah. There's a couple harder to find ones or expensive ones that we might not have played. But yeah, we might do a ranking at some point. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That is our thoughts on Ticket to Ride, France and Old West. If you want to see reviews as they come out, make sure to follow us on YouTube under Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. You can find us on Facebook under the same name. If you want to see pictures of the games we're currently playing, follow us on Instagram under Ryan and Bethany. If you want to reach out and chat with us, find us on Twitter under Ryan and Bethany 1. And then lastly, if you want to see a more in-depth behind the scenes of what Ryan and I are doing to achieve better health in our life, follow our blog on Board Game Geek, and that is under Pounds and Inches.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.